The first night staying at my boyfriend's house, I walked into the wrong room. Late at night, someone climbed onto my bed. My pajamas were lifted. Ethan, stop messing around. I woke up groggily, thinking it was my boyfriend. He seemed not to hear, planting heated kisses all over my neck. Ethan looked completely different from his usual innocent, shy self. Noticing the faint scent of alcohol in the air, I understood. Liquid courage. I stopped resisting and actively reached up to wrap my arms around his neck. Bro, are you in there? Suddenly, Ethan's voice came clearly from outside the door. I froze instantly. If Ethan was outside, then who was in here with me?
Welcome to listen to my full sweet love series novel. I'm the blogger and I'm Twilight's novel. Now let's start the main story.
I pushed him away abruptly and turned on the bedside lamp. The room flooded with light. Simon's coldly handsome face suddenly appeared before me. His pale skin clearly showed 2 flushed spots, looking like he was still slightly tipsy. Afraid Ethan outside might discover us, I lowered my voice to ask him, Simon, why are you in my room? I didn't dare mention what had just happened. Because in my mind, Simon, aloof, taciturn, mature, and steady, couldn't possibly be a pervert. There must be some misunderstanding. Simon rubbed his temples, his eyes regaining their usual clarity. He looked at me, then glanced around. Seeming to confirm something, a trace of annoyance flickered across his brow. This is my room. As for what happened earlier, I apologize, I thought it was a dream. I was stunned. My hands clutching the blanket trembled even harder. Bro, I have something urgent, can I come in? Hearing Ethan's voice, my heart leaped into my throat. My nightgown was disheveled. My neck was covered in ambiguous red marks. If Ethan came in and saw me like this, I'd rather die. But Simon was clearly much calmer. Don't come in yet. His tone was even but carried an undeniable authority. Ethan outside obviously paused. Huh. What? Bro, sorry, did I wake you? But it's really urgent. While Ethan kept talking, Simon grabbed a shirt from the wardrobe and tossed it to me. He gestured towards the ensuite bathroom. I pulled on the shirt and hid inside as fast as I could, locking the door. What is it? Only after confirming I was inside did Simon open the door for Ethan. Where's Amelia? She's not home? I've looked in both guest rooms. Couldn't find her. Didn't I ask you to send someone to pick her up for me this afternoon since I had something? Where is she? And her phone's off, so I'm really worried. Simon interrupted him. I sent Alex to pick her up this afternoon. But her flight was delayed, arrived at 8. The guest rooms here weren't ready, so I had Alex book her a hotel near the airport for tonight. Don't worry, she's fine, she's safe. Hearing this, I quickly pulled out my phone. My phone was on silent. After hours on the plane, I took a shower and crashed as soon as I got in. I completely forgot that Ethan had sent me many messages and called 5 or 6 times later. I immediately replied to Ethan. Ethan, my phone died earlier. Your brother booked me a hotel. I'm already asleep. He said your assistant Alex would pick me up tomorrow. Don't worry. Ethan's phone vibrated. Hey, Amelia messaged me. He checked his phone and smiled. I trust my big brother to handle things. Since Amelia's safe, I can relax. Sorry, bro. Waking you up in the middle of the night. Simon said calmly. It's fine, go get some rest. Okay. Ethan left. The sound of the door closing came from outside. I breathed a sigh of relief. Late that night, after Ethan had fallen asleep, Simon quietly saw me out. His assistant Alex was waiting outside and then drove me to the hotel. The next day, it was Ethan who came to pick me up. He noticed nothing unusual. Immediately hugged me. Said he missed me and apologized. Sorry, Amelia, for not picking you up yesterday. It's okay. I rubbed the back of his head, his hair soft and fluffy. Thinking I could see Ethan every day from now on warmed my heart. We started dating in the 2nd semester of my sophomore year of high school. He was a senior then. Not long after we got together, he got into University A. Those 2 months of summer vacation were our honeymoon phase. Inseparable. But when summer ended, we became a long-distance couple. To be with Ethan, I studied desperately. My results came out. over 10 points above University A's cutoff. The year plus of long distance was finally over. With still over half a month before classes started, Ethan suggested I come to City A early so he could show me around first. To see Ethan sooner, I packed my bags and boarded a flight to City A. Ethan didn't live in the dorms. He lived in a detached villa near campus. It belonged to his older brother, Simon. Simon was busy with work, often traveling, so he wasn't around much. So it was basically just Ethan living there. The villa was huge, 3 stories. Ethan said I could have one of the guest rooms to sleep in. Originally, everything was arranged perfectly. But unfortunately, Ethan had an unexpected commitment that day and couldn't pick me up from the airport. Later, it was Simon's assistant, Alex, who picked me up. He drove me to the villa. "Miss Amelia, I've brought your luggage inside. Your room is the first guest room on the 2nd floor." Assistant Alex finished explaining and left. The villa was empty. I went upstairs and pushed open the first room. Seeing it completely empty and devoid of any lived-in feel, I mistakenly thought it was the guest room. Actually, it was Simon's master bedroom. If only I had opened the closet, I would have seen a whole row of men's pajamas and suits. And the biggest coincidence. Simon came back that night. He'd had a business dinner and had quite a bit to drink. That evening, Simon had the housekeeper prepare a huge table of dishes to welcome me. Ethan and I sat on one side of the dining table. Simon sat opposite us. Under the light, Simon's sharply defined face looked even more exquisitely handsome, carrying an aloofness and detachment, like he didn't belong to the mortal world. In my impression, Simon had always been like this. Immaculate, sacred, inviolable. He was Ethan's older brother, 5 years his senior. He was also the heir to the Simon Group, a king standing at the pinnacle of the pyramid. Ethan was different. As the younger son of a wealthy family, he had much more freedom. Outgoing, cheerful, relaxed, confident. That's why I liked being with Ethan so much. It was comfortable, easy, carefree. "Amelia, eat more." Ethan kept putting food on my plate until my bowl was piled high like a little mountain. "Enough, enough. You really think I'm a pig?" Probably unaccustomed to our couple's sweet daily banter, Simon, who hadn't spoken much opposite us, cleared his throat lightly. Ethan and I immediately stopped our playful teasing. Suddenly noticing something, Ethan got excited. "Bro, do you have a woman? What's that red mark on your neck? Looks like scratches from someone's nails. Could it be?" Ethan's implication was clear. Seeing the red marks near his collar, I choked. "Amelia, slow down, don't rush." Ethan patted my back while continuing to tease Simon. "It's a miracle. A 24-year-old virgin finally has a situation. I need to tell Mom quickly so she doesn't have to worry about her son not finding a wife." Ethan babbled on, while I was terrified. After all, I was the one who'd done that. Last night Simon had been quite forceful. I'd scratched his neck when it hurt. I hadn't expected Ethan to notice. But experience wins out. Simon only hesitated for a second before his expression returned to calm. "Scratched it myself. Don't talk nonsense." Clearly a lie. But his serious, unquestionable tone left no room for refutation. Ethan began to waver. "Really not? Not? Right. For a workaholic like you who avoids women, if you had one, the sun would rise in the west." Hearing Ethan say that, my anxious heart settled. Talk less. Eat. Simon seemed unwilling to discuss his private life. Ethan had tacked and quickly shut up. The incident from last night should be considered over, right? It was just a misunderstanding anyway. In the end, Simon had also stopped. He hadn't caused me any real harm. The days that followed, Ethan took me all over City A to have fun. I was really happy. Every day I opened my eyes. It was a sweet date. The regret of a year of long distance faded away because of Ethan's company and doting, becoming insignificant. September 1st, classes started. I moved out of Simon's villa and into the school dorm. Ethan became even better to me. Every morning, he would bring breakfast to me at the dorm entrance. He ate lunch with me. He took me out shopping and to movies every few days, bought me clothes and jewelry. Afraid I'd be envied by other girls in the dorm, he always prepared extra gifts for me to share with them. He was considerate. My roommates all said how lucky I was to have a boyfriend like Ethan. Tall, handsome, generous, practically spoiling me rotten. But later on, Ethan suddenly became very busy. For over half a month, the number of times I saw him could be counted on one hand. Ethan said there was a city basketball tournament. He was on the university team, representing the school, and was in training camp preparing. Our National Day holiday plans to ride the downtown Ferris wheel were also cancelled. My home was far from City A. Plane tickets weren't cheap. During the holiday, I was the only one left in the dorm. I felt a bit disappointed but understood my boyfriend needed to train. While binge-watching a show, I got a call from Simon. I was surprised but answered immediately. "Amelia, you're alone at school?" "Yeah." "Come out later. I'll pick you up. Take you out." "Huh." "Ethan asked me to help look after you." "Oh, that was it." "Simon, it's no trouble. I know you're busy with work. You don't need to spend time on me. I'm happy just watching shows alone in the dorm." "It's no trouble." Simon hung up quickly. An hour later, Simon's car was parked at the school's west gate. Walking from the dorm to the gate, I felt conflicted. But seeing the luxury car parked by the street and Simon's sharply handsome face, all my doubts vanished. His brother wanted to take me out. How could I not rush? Simon took me to dinner first. The location was an upscale Western restaurant. Rooftop. Open air. While we ate, someone played live piano nearby. Halfway through the meal, brilliant fireworks exploded across the night sky. After dinner, Simon asked if there was anywhere else I wanted to go. "I want to ride that Ferris wheel." I blurted out without thinking. But as soon as I said it, I regretted it. Unexpectedly, Simon agreed immediately. As the cabin rose to the top, the entire city's night view unfolded below. Glistening lights, the vibrant human world. It was incredibly beautiful. But actually, I was a little scared of heights. My heart raced wildly. Partly from excitement at the beauty, partly from nervousness and fear of the height. "If you're scared, you can hold my hand." Simon noticed my unease and stretched his hand out to me courteously. I grabbed it without thinking. His warm, large hand wrapped tightly around mine. Feeling supported, I became less afraid. The whole cabin was filled with Simon's faint, cool, woody scent. The familiar smell made the atmosphere feel strangely intimate. My palms grew warm. As the cabin slowly descended, I carefully withdrew my hand from Simon's grasp. "Simon, I'm fine now, not scared anymore." I couldn't quite meet his eyes. Simon didn't say anything, just sat quietly. Turning my head, I noticed the cabin next to us. It seemed to have a couple inside too. A boy in a gray jacket was leaning close to talk intimately to the girl beside him. I froze. That person's profile looked incredibly like Ethan. But Ethan was at basketball training camp. How could he be here? I tried to look more closely, but Simon suddenly blocked my view. "Amelia." He lowered his head, looking at me. His tall frame blocked all my view. From this close, I could even see the tiny pores on his face. He reached out, cupped my face, moved his head closer. I felt instantly paralyzed, my heart pounding wildly. No way. Could it be? I panicked, thinking Simon might kiss me. But soon, Simon's other hand reached over, brushed past the corner of my eye. "You have something here." Thank you." Simon was just kindly helping me, but I thought he wanted to kiss me. So embarrassing. Overwhelmed by shame and awkwardness, I completely forgot to confirm if what I'd seen was really Ethan. Even after Simon dropped me back at school, my whole face was flushed. "Simon, thank you for today. I'll head back now. Drive safely. Get some rest early." Simon waved goodbye to me, the black Bentley disappearing into the night. That night, I dreamed about Simon. In the dream, we were having dinner together. I stared at his big hands holding the knife and fork. His hands were so beautiful. Clean, slender, knuckles prominent, nails neatly trimmed, clear veins on the back, a greenish tint showing through. They looked incredibly powerful against his pale skin. These were the same hands that had almost... that night. Recalling those details, my face suddenly burned. "Amelia, are you hot?" Seeing the sweat beads on my nose, Simon handed me a napkin. Ah. A little. I sweat easily when I eat. I weakly tried to explain. Simon looked at me, then stood up and walked over. Hot from eating? Or hot from looking at me? I was startled, not expecting Simon to be so direct. I stammered, unable to get a word out. Simon suddenly leaned down, hooked my chin. Amelia, don't you think I'm more charming than Ethan? He stared at me, his dark eyes captivating. My mind went blank. The next second, Simon's kiss landed. Then the scene changed. Simon and I were in his bedroom. A firm chest. Well-defined abs. Displayed nakedly before me. I swallowed hard. Simon had pale skin, favored wearing black, looking refined, slim, noble, and cold. But without clothes, his physique was no worse than Ethan's. Simon, I'm your brother's girlfriend, we can't do this. In the dream, I clung to the last shreds of reason. Then I'll just take you away, simple as that. You're looking forward to it too, aren't you? Simon lowered his head, a smile playing on his lips. He kissed me. Early the next morning, I woke up in a panic. I felt utterly off. Suddenly, my phone rang beside the bed, startling me. Seeing it was Ethan calling, I quickly answered. Amelia, are you up? I brought you breakfast, waiting downstairs. I mumbled a response, half asleep. Hanging up, I checked the time and realized it was already past 9. Phew. No morning classes today. After washing up and going downstairs, I saw Ethan's tall figure standing outside the dorm from afar. Ethan brought my favorite crab roe soup dumplings. Taking the warm box, I felt inexplicably guilty. He was worried I'd be bored alone during the holiday and asked Simon to look after me, yet I dreamed about betraying him. He knew nothing and still brought my favorite food. I resolved to keep my distance from Simon. Ethan, you're the best. Ethan ruffled my hair. Of course I should be good to you. Don't be polite with me. By the way, were you training with the team last night too? Yeah. Trained until 11 last night. My arms are still sore. Seeing Ethan could barely lift his arms, I believed he wasn't lying. My guilt deepened, so I stood on tiptoe and kissed him. Then focus on preparing for the game. Don't worry about me during this time. I'll take care of myself. When you win first place, we'll celebrate properly. Ethan smiled and kissed my cheek. Ethan's basketball team won big, taking first place in the city. That evening, he took me out to dinner with his friends. Late that night, I had a sudden sharp stomach ache. I called Ethan. At 3 in the morning, he took me to the emergency room. After an examination, it was diagnosed as gastroenteritis. Not serious, but the doctor recommended 3 days of 4 fluids. The next day, Ethan stayed with me at the hospital. The doctor said I needed a light diet, so Ethan was extra careful with my meals. While Ethan went downstairs to buy fruit, the hospital room door opened. A tall, slender, pretty girl stood before me. Wearing a Miu suit, carrying a Dior bag, her long wavy hair smooth and glossy, more dazzling than a star. You're Amelia? The girl walked in and sat familiarly on my bedside. And you are? I'm Chloe. So this was Chloe. At dinner the night before, one of Ethan's friends mentioned Ethan had a childhood friend he'd pursued for ages without success. He also said I looked a lot like her, especially the eyes. I hadn't paid much attention then, as Ethan had never mentioned her. Now seeing Chloe, I realized his friend might have been right. I looked at her closely. The eyes. Were my eyes really similar to hers? To take care of you, Ethan cancelled plans with me. Seems you hold some weight in his heart. Chloe's words made me uncomfortable. Her attitude towards me was clearly disdainful. I'm his girlfriend. Him taking care of me is only natural. I said it deliberately. Chloe was indeed provoked. Do you know why Ethan is with you? Only because you look like me. What do you have to be proud of? I'm not proud. I'm just stating a fact. Chloe gave a light laugh. I felt uncomfortable too, so I asked her, so you came to find me, are you jealous? Chloe didn't answer. Do you like Ethan? None of your business. I'm his girlfriend. My boyfriend being coveted by another woman is definitely my business. Amelia, you're ridiculous. Chloe lost her temper, though I wasn't sure what nerve I'd hit. If you liked him, you should have been with him long ago. It wouldn't be my turn. If you don't like him, don't always hang around him. It's unclear. After all, he has a girlfriend. The door opened. Ethan walked in carrying a bag of fruit. He looked grim. I didn't know how much of Chloe and my conversation he had heard. But he clearly hadn't expected Chloe to come find me. Chloe, what are you doing here? Ethan approached. You didn't have time to see the art exhibition with me, so I came to visit your girlfriend instead. In front of Ethan, Chloe acted casual. Amelia, this is Chloe, my childhood friend. Yeah, I know, we introduced ourselves already. Later, Ethan walked Chloe downstairs. He returned to the room only after about 15 minutes. Amelia, don't overthink it, Chloe and I. It's not what you think. Ethan took my hand. I trust you. After I was discharged, Chloe started appearing more frequently during my time with Ethan. Ethan told me Chloe had been abroad the past couple of years and didn't have many friends here. If he didn't include her, she'd be all alone and pitiful. What could I say? He'd said that, if I said I minded, I'd seem petty and immature. On Chloe's birthday, she threw a big party. Ethan and I were both invited. I didn't really want to go. But I didn't want Ethan going alone either. The beginning was fine. Chloe cut the cake in front of everyone, accepted well wishes. Later, Ethan suddenly disappeared. While looking for him, I realized Chloe was gone too. Then, I saw them in a room on the villa's second floor. The door was half open. I walked to the doorway and met Chloe's eyes inside. But Ethan had his back to me. He couldn't see me, but Chloe saw me clearly. Chloe asked him, "You've been with that girlfriend of yours, Amelia, for a long time?" "Over a year. Do you like her a lot?" Ethan was silent, didn't answer. "Or is it because she looks like me?" "She does look a lot like you." Hearing this, I unconsciously clenched my hand. "So if I agreed to be with you, would you break up with Amelia?" "You'd be with me?" Ethan's voice was excited. Chloe's smile widened. "Answer me first." "Yes." Getting the answer she wanted, Chloe glanced at me. "Aren't you afraid she'll be heartbroken?" "Chloe, you know perfectly well you're the one I want most. If you say yes, I don't care about anything else. My actions towards you all this time, haven't you seen? My confession to you on the Ferris wheel was completely sincere. So the person on the Ferris wheel really was Ethan." My eyes instantly stung. I felt like a joke. "Is that so? Even if Amelia begged you not to break up, you'd still dump her without hesitation?" "If you agree to be with me, I'll cut things off with her immediately." "Chloe, I love you." Ethan stepped forward and hugged Chloe. Carefully. Full of affection. As if he'd finally claimed a long-sought treasure. Chloe reached out, wrapped her arms around Ethan's back. She rested her chin on his shoulder and gave me a triumphant smirk. As if saying, "See, I won effortlessly." At that moment, something inside me shattered. I knew this was all deliberately set up by Chloe for me to see. But Ethan's answers were real. I didn't even have the courage to confront him. I just fled. So I really was just a disposable stand-in. Hearing those words from others was just uncomfortable. But hearing them from Ethan's own mouth was bloody painful. I went to a KTV, booked a private room alone. Didn't sing, just drank. I lost count of how many glasses I had. The more I drank, the sadder I felt. The more I drank, the harder I cried. Ethan was my first love. The first person I liked at the end of being 17. In the end, the outcome was just like everyone said. First love is meant to end in heartbreak. "Amelia, come home with me." I don't know how much time passed. I was sprawled on the sofa when I heard Simon's voice. I opened my eyes. Sure enough, I saw him. He was in a suit and tie, looking like he'd rushed over straight from some meeting. Seeing him, my nose stung, and I started crying. "Simon." I buried myself in his arms, tears staining his expensive suit. "Ethan bullied me. He's a jerk. He clearly likes someone else but still came after me. Why do this?" I cried messily, my hands clutching Simon's clothes tightly. Simon held me, his hand stroking the back of my head. I know. It's his fault. He had a woody scent, calm, cool, yet strangely reassuring. I couldn't help burrowing deeper into his embrace. You've had too much to drink. Come home with me, okay? Simon patted my back, coaxing me gently. No, I don't want to go back. I shook my head stubbornly, like a willful child. Simon let me throw my tantrum in his arms and said nothing more. But later, he still took me away from the KTV. At his place, Simon helped me sit on the sofa. I kept tilting to one side, my head splitting, my stomach churning uncomfortably. After a while, Simon brought a warm towel to wipe my face. His movements were gentle, one hand supporting the back of my neck, the other softly wiping. His handsome, refined features seemed softer than usual. Simon, you're really handsome. And so gentle. I suddenly realized that besides my parents, no one had ever been this attentive to me. A wave of warmth surged in my chest, and my eyes stung again. I wish I liked you instead. You definitely wouldn't make me sad like Ethan does, right? The hand holding the towel paused slightly. Simon answered, I wouldn't. I knew it. Hearing that wouldn't, my emotions completely snapped. Using Simon's supportive position, I lunged forward and wrapped my arms tightly around his neck. Simon stiffened, clearly caught off guard. But fueled by alcohol, I seemed unable to control my actions. I just felt that at this moment, he was the only person I could confide in and seek warmth from. Then stop liking Ethan. Like me. After a moment, Simon relaxed, his arms encircling my back from behind. Hearing his words, I was stunned. Simon, what did you say? I looked at his face, wondering if I was hallucinating. But the next second, he leaned in and kissed me. It wasn't a peck. My waist was held firmly, the back of my neck cupped in a large hand. There was almost no room to escape. And I didn't dislike his kiss. He tasted clean, his lips and tongue soft and scorching. Kissed so pleasurably, I even instinctively kissed him back. Small whimpers escaped my throat. But this seemed like a catalyst. I felt Simon's kiss grow fiercer. In the quiet living room, only our mingled breathing and the sound of our breaths mingling could be heard. I ended up straddling Simon's lap. Simon's face was flushed with desire. Like snow lotus atop a high mountain, stained with a touch of worldly red. Simon, am I pretty? Simon's Adam's apple bobbed, his voice strained. Beautiful. Then why? Doesn't Ethan want me? Am I not as pretty as Chloe? You're prettier than her. Really? Really? The joy of being affirmed made me kiss Simon again. My hands went to unbutton his shirt. He grabbed my wrists. Amelia, stop. Simon seemed to snap back to his senses, his gaze turning cold. Why? Simon's hesitation made me sad. I knew you were lying to make me feel better. Even Simon was lying to me. I cried miserably, tears blurring my vision, my mind a mess. But suddenly, my lips were covered in heat again. Simon flipped me over, pinning me beneath him. I didn't lie. This time, Simon unbuttoned his own shirt. Simon carried me back to the bedroom. Compared to that night, Simon was much gentler. I felt carefully cherished. I never imagined this could happen between Simon and me. Later, I called him brother countless times, my voice growing hoarse. Turns out, he was also a master of seduction. I was utterly exhausted and fell into a deep sleep. In my haze, someone held me tenderly, treasuring me. Waking up, my brain, which had started crashing last night, seemed to reboot. Simon was still asleep behind me. And every mark on my body reminded me it was all real. What was forcibly stopped from happening that night had finally happened. I covered my face, writhing on the bed like an earthworm in regret. Alcohol ruins everything. After a night, Simon's face regained its usual composure. Clean and sharp, noble and handsome, radiating an almost sacred ascetic aura. But who could have imagined his nighttime self? His stamina was like a wind-up toy, relentless. All coaxing and deception, completely disregarding my survival. My fault. I actually used drunkenness to seduce him. The more I thought about it, the more ashamed I felt. I fled before Simon woke up. Though sleeping with Simon was an accident, I didn't regret it. Striking while the iron was hot, I arranged to meet Ethan. I harbored immense resentment toward Ethan. How could I accept being both a backup and the one getting dumped? That would be too pitiful. So I struck first. We're breaking up. Ethan, I don't love you anymore. I slept with someone else. Hearing this, Ethan's face registered shock. Everything was too sudden. His lack of anticipation was understandable. After all, even I hadn't expected such efficiency. In one night, I'd accepted being abandoned by my boyfriend while simultaneously sleeping with his brother. Now, I was using it as grounds to dump him first. Amelia, you. I cut Ethan off. Don't look so stunned and don't you dare blame me. You and Chloe, I know everything. Dating me was just using me as her substitute. Now that she's changed her mind, you've decided to ditch me too. Once, I liked you sincerely and purely. You were my first love. But after enough disappointment, I'll let go on my own. Now we're even. Neither of us is innocent, so we're square. Ethan watched me silently. The emotions in his eyes shifted from shock to guilt, then to loss, finally settling into calm. I'm sorry, Amelia. About Chloe. I wronged you. After clearing things with Ethan, I returned to campus. I felt strangely light and free. Like a heavy stone that had weighed on me for so long had finally settled. But thinking of Simon, my heart ached with a dull sourness. I realized I'd fallen for him. Though the physical act stemmed from alcohol and revenge, I knew if I felt nothing for Simon, it wouldn't have gone that far. But to Simon, what was I? I was his brother's girlfriend, yet we'd done that. Even now that Ethan and I had broken up, someone like Simon would likely bury the truth like the first time. He prioritized the big picture, was mature and calm, understood worldly affairs. He wouldn't tie himself to me over a drunken accident. Days passed with no call or message from Simon. Seemed I was right. That night meant nothing to him. He chose silence, erasing all traces. Fine. These newly sprouted feelings could be nipped in the bud early too. He was an untouchable flower on a high peak. I was just an ant scrambling up the path. Leaving each other alone was its own form of resolution. I vaguely heard updates about Ethan and Chloe. I'd thought that after my breakup with Ethan, he'd finally get his wish and be with Chloe. Unexpectedly, once I rejected Ethan, Chloe rejected him too. They didn't end up together. Chloe didn't actually love Ethan or want to be with him. My presence had simply annoyed her. Her possessiveness over Ethan drove her to sabotage us. She just enjoyed the superiority of Ethan chasing after her, seeing only her. But with Ethan single, she still didn't want him. Honestly, I felt a bit sorry for Ethan. But it was no longer my concern. He'd made his bed. I refocused on my studies. My college entrance scores were good. I'd chosen a top program at University A. Graduation should lead to a decent job. I came from an ordinary family in City B. Both parents were average wage earners. We weren't well off, and had no influential relatives to pave my way. So my plan was clear. Follow the steps, support myself through my own abilities, that was enough. After calculus class, I walked out of the lecture hall. Looking up, a tall figure blocked my path. Simon stood before me in a black trench coat. His coldly handsome features were impossible to ignore. Amelia. Seeing Simon stunned me. Simon. Is something wrong? Let's talk. Simon took me back to the villa. We sat side by side on the living room sofa. My heart had been pounding since we arrived. I thought I'd never see Simon again. Yet here he was seeking me out. Amelia, about that night. Don't worry, Simon. I'm an adult. I take responsibility for my actions. I was drunk. I initiated it. It's not on you. I won't cling to you, and I won't tell anyone. That's not what I meant. Then you? Simon paused for 2 seconds. I'm older than you, more traditional in my views. Since we were intimate, I should be responsible for you. Hearing this shocked me. But I was your brother's girlfriend. How can you be responsible for me? You've broken up, haven't you? Ethan told me already. Ethan once told me his parents worked constantly. Simon had raised him since childhood. So Simon knew Ethan's business better than anyone. Amelia, let's date. Simon looked at me, his eyes deep. Simon, are you Serious? Do I seem like someone who jokes? Are you worried about Ethan's opinion? I froze, unsure how to answer. Ethan wronged you first. You shouldn't feel guilty. Even so, my mind still struggled to process it. But that night you said, "If only you liked me instead." And I answered you. "Then like me, Amelia." Simon gazed at me, his handsome face filled with tenderness. My heart raced like I was on a roller coaster. This abrupt, zero-buffer conversation had crashed my brain. I need to think it over. Okay. It all felt like a dream. 1 week later, Simon and I were together. Though the transition felt rushed. It was Simon. The white lotus blooming atop a snowy peak. To me, a deity on Mount Everest. He wanted to date me. Refusing would be sheer pretension. Learning Simon and I were dating shattered Ethan. "You slept with my brother?" Ethan's worldview imploded. I smiled. "You were disloyal. I was unrighteous." "Ethan. Come on, call me sister-in-law." Ethan moved out of the family home. He'd broken up with me, been rejected by Chloe. Now he was single. Pathetic. Simon and I flaunted our love in front of him daily. How could he endure it? "Simon, aren't we being too harsh on Ethan? He seems so pitiful." The white moon he pined for remained out of reach. His freshly ex-girlfriend was now dating his brother. He couldn't complain, just choked on our affection daily. Simon kissed me tenderly. He brought it on himself. Perfect. When we marry, I'll make Ethan be Simon's best man and call me sister-in-law in front of everyone. Satisfying. After my 20th birthday, Simon took me to the civil registry. On our wedding night, recalling Simon's words from our first encounter, something felt off. He'd been drunk then. Said he thought it was a dream. What kind of dream? A wet dream? Men having those dreams isn't strange. But was I the subject? I asked Simon. Earlier you said you thought it was a dream that night. Simon, did you dream about me? Or another woman? Simon looked at me, utterly serious. It was you. Always you. I gasped. So you'd already. Amelia, I'm no gentleman. My desire for you? Premeditated.
Epilogue. Simon's perspective. First saw Ethan's girlfriend when he started college. He said she thought he was a rich second-gen. Their gap made her hesitant to date him. Asked me for advice. Later, I treated them to dinner. A fair-skinned girl, just over 5'3", petite face, huge eyes. Dimples when she smiled, vibrant and lovely. Meeting me, Amelia was nervous, shrinking beside Ethan, afraid to eat. I realized my usual sternness, older, work-driven, might scare a young girl. So I chatted casually to ease the mood. Told her if Ethan misbehaved, she could tell me. I'd discipline him. By meal's end, Amelia finally smiled. Strangely, seeing her smile lifted my own spirits. Afterward, Ethan said Amelia agreed to keep dating him. Said he owed me thanks. Asked why. Ethan replied, Amelia said you seem cold but are actually approachable and kind-hearted. If I have a brother like you, your family can't be snobby rich elitists. So she'll date me seriously. I laughed involuntarily. Such a pure, sweet heart. At university, Ethan and Amelia were long distance. Amelia was swamped with senior year studies. If you want Amelia at Uni A with you, don't distract her. Let her focus. I warned Ethan. He agreed. But during breaks, he begged me to arrange trips abroad for them. High school pressure was intense, breaks weren't bad. Plus, the long-distance couple craved time together. So I agreed. Flights, hotels, itineraries, guides. I handled every detail. Just wanted them to enjoy themselves. That kid Ethan, once he had a girlfriend, strutted like a peacock. Constantly sent selfies with Amelia. At first, I just smiled. But later, seeing Amelia kiss Ethan's neck, I felt a pang. Lucky kid. 3 months before finals, Ethan promised not to contact Amelia, letting her study. I thought he finally got it. But days later, something felt wrong. Ethan flew abroad to see Chloe. Chloe was our neighbor's daughter, Ethan's childhood friend. They'd grown up together. Their bond wasn't ordinary. In high school, Ethan confessed to Chloe but was rejected. Still, he clung to her, trailing after her constantly. Useless. Chloe got a boyfriend and moved abroad with him. Ethan was crushed then. No basketball, no video games. A year or two later he slowly recovered. After dating Amelia, I assumed he'd moved on. But turns out the kid was devoted. Chloe summoned him from abroad, and off he went. Within a month, Chloe returned too. Ethan spent even more time with her. Rumors said Chloe dumped her boyfriend. Ethan visibly brightened. He threw Chloe a welcome party, took her everywhere, hung out with friends, like she was his girlfriend. Ethan, what's with you and Chloe? Forgot Amelia's your girlfriend? Bro, Ethan hesitated. Does Amelia know? She doesn't. Bro, don't tell her. Chloe's just a friend back from abroad. I'm keeping her company. Just friends? You really believe that? Anger flared in me inexplicably. If I catch you two-timing, you know the consequences. Bro, relax. I know my limits. Ethan brushed me off vaguely. His business, I couldn't pry. Amelia aced her exams, got into Uni A. Overhearing her excited call with Ethan warmed my own heart. Knowing I'd see her often now stirred something in me. Ethan needed a ride for Amelia's arrival but had something urgent. I asked what. Chloe felt unwell, needed him at the hospital. Chloe, a rich heiress, couldn't find one other person? Disgust churned inside me. Ditching his girlfriend for another girl, disgraceful. But the thought of fetching Amelia made me agree instantly. I wanted to see her. Craved it. Bad timing. An afternoon project crisis required talks with partners. Sent Alex to fetch her instead. Dinner negotiations dragged past 11. Extra drinks left me tipsy. The driver dropped me home. I crashed upstairs. Soon, a soft warmth pressed against me. Felt familiar. Thought I was dreaming again. Fine, I wasn't a saint either. But this time felt intensely real. She trembled in my arms. My excitement only grew. I was despicable. But this was just a dream. Reality's forbidden acts, selfishly fulfilled in dreams. Who could blame me? Bro, you in there? My dream shattered abruptly. Lights blazed on. Amelia stared at me, horrified, pale skin dotted red, clutching the sheet over herself, demanding why I was in her room. Reality crashed down. This wasn't a dream. Damn it, I apologized immediately. Later, I covered the mishap smoothly. Ethan never learned. Amelia didn't press, I didn't mention it. We pretended it never happened. But afterward, I realized my feelings for Amelia had spiraled beyond control. Sober, I fought them, masking my desire carefully. Yet Ethan began lying to Amelia constantly. I knew Chloe was behind it. He still couldn't let Chloe go. Break up with Amelia, or cut off Chloe. Your choice, Ethan. No two-timing. It's unfair to everyone. Ethan looked defeated. I know, bro. But, give me time. I'll tell Amelia myself. So, you choose Chloe? You know I've always loved her most. Cold fury rose inside me. Kid really thought he was some lovesick hero. National Day, Ethan ditched Amelia for Chloe, lying about training camp. I stepped in, taking Amelia out. Partly my own selfishness. But on the Ferris wheel, we spotted him with Chloe. Amelia noticed. I blocked her view instantly. Her panicked upward glance made my heart itch. I truly wanted to kiss her. But I knew not yet. Amelia eventually discovered Ethan and Chloe herself. Shattered, she drank alone at a KTV. I fetched her. She sobbed in my arms. Her pain felt like knives twisting inside me. If only she'd met me first. I'd never let her cry like this. Home, I comforted her. Then, suddenly she kissed me. I couldn't hold back. But when her hands went for my buttons, I stopped her. Simon, you're lying to me too? Tears streamed down her face onto my chest. I snapped. Whatever happened tonight, I'd never regret it. To me, Amelia wasn't a substitute. She was a flower I cherished tenderly. Unique. The very best. I'd give her my whole heart, my very best.